When I think back to my playing days, many, many years ago, I'm trying to think of all the people that I played regularly. And there was a guy that I used to play called Paul Kennett. We used to call him PK, from New Zealand. And I would consider him, I think, my nemesis. And he's my nemesis for two reasons. One, because I don't ever remember beating him. I might have done, but I don't think so. Definitely not in any official competition, maybe in some practice matches. But more importantly, he was always just a little bit better than me. And we had close matches, 3-2s lots of times, I think. He probably beat me 3-love sometimes as well. But I just remember that when I feel as though I've got a little bit better, he got a little bit better. And that's not fair. I'm supposed to get better and you're supposed to stay the same. So this week's question is, obviously, as you sort of from the thumbnail, I suppose, is, who was your squash nemesis? Who is your squash nemesis? Now, if you don't know, a nemesis is the person that you're always against. It's like the character, I suppose, Superman is always against Lex Luthor, and Batman is often against the Joker, that kind of thing, the person that you're against. Now, it's interesting from the point of view of long-term rivalries, and I think the most obvious there, or at least to me, the most obvious there would be between Nick Matthew and James Willstrop. Now, I don't remember exactly how many matches, and I'm sure somebody will post it in the comments, and that's perfectly fine, because I'm happy for that. But was it something like 30 matches where James didn't beat Nick? I mean, that's a whole book of exploring the mindset of each time you play somebody from both perspectives. If you've beaten somebody every single time, you could almost argue this man has supreme confidence. And we're not talking about Nick or James specifically here. If you beat somebody all of the time, you're always going to be supremely confident. But you should also have a little bit of doubt to make you work harder, because you must expect that player to come with something new. And if you are the person who has lost 20 times in a row, what is it that goes through your mind that you say, right, today I'm going to do things differently, or I'm going to keep things the same as last time because I know I can do it? I don't know. I mean, that's a whole discussion. So what I'm really talking about here is that if you do have a nemesis, tell me in the comments, and what is it that made them your nemesis? Was it a particular playing style? And it comes back to this idea that we've had before, or this discussion we've had before, A beats B, B beats C, C beats A. But it's also counterbalanced with the idea that I truly believe that squash is quite predictable, that the upsets in squash don't happen that much. But what is it about your nemesis? Is it their playing style? How did you approach the games? Were you the one winning all of those games and you constantly wanted to make sure that you're winning? Because it's often said it's harder to be in the front than it is to be just a little bit behind. When you're chasing somebody in a race, you work that little bit harder because you can see them. But when somebody's behind you, it's a little bit easier to relax. So tell me about your nemesis. What was it about them that made them the nemesis? What changes did you make? Were you the one winning? Were you the one losing? Curious to hear all of your stories. And by the way, have you seen my new Lacoste? Can't really show you up close, but it's got this great stringing pattern where the two strings go into one hole, which is pretty cool. Considering this is a wooden racket, that was probably pretty innovative at the time. Anyway, that was this week's Let's Talk Squash question.